Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm living Chronic Faith. Thanks for stopping by. It seems you can't go online, whether on social media or on a regular search engine, without being absolutely inundated with trending topics. The latest, the greatest, what's hip, what's happening, what everybody seems to be talking about right in the moment is right there at your fingertips. And it spans every imaginable topic. One of the most potentially dangerous topics is trending health issues, right? And there are so many conversations floating around that it can be easy to get distracted or to be misled. It seems like since my formal diagnosis in 2010, every time I talk about my medical condition with anyone, I get some advice in some form, often unsolicited. A lot of it has been really effective, while some, well, we'll just be thankful that people want to be helpful. That's when you really need to have the Facts of Life anointing. You remember that show, The Facts of Life, with Tootie and them? And the theme song said what? You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. And it's true. There's good information out there, there's bad information. You kind of have to take it all with a grain of salt and filter through it to find the best information. That's just the way life goes. And the reason I say that you have to have that Facts of Life anointing is that there's always something that you can learn, even from advice that doesn't work for you. You've at least learned that it doesn't work. And a lot of our health management is about process of elimination and figuring out what doesn't work. But I do want to caution you about taking all the herbs and supplements and remedies that people suggest. This is where you have to have that different strokes anointing. You know, the theme song that said, now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. We got to be okay with the idea that some people are going to recommend some things to us that just don't fit our lifestyle, that just don't suit our body makeup. And it's all right. It's all right. So if you receive advice or you're gifted with a product or a remedy that doesn't sit well with you, trust your gut instincts and don't use it until you speak with your doctor. I also want to encourage you to stay prayerful about everything concerning your health. Create a space in your life for God to lead you to the practitioner who's going to be the right fit for you. Ask Him for divine wisdom and guidance before you make changes, and let Him lead you and speak to you about your habits, the good ones and the bad ones. When people recommend something, remember that they're investing their time, their compassion, even their experience in your well-being. So even if it's something you've already tried or something you know you never will try, always remember to respond to the heart behind the suggestion, not the suggestion itself. People don't have to take the time to offer what they have that they think they could be helpful. So always be gracious and appreciative of that concern. But that said, do your own research. Don't just take anyone's word for it, even your doctor. Use reputable websites. Usually my go-tos are the CDC or Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic or a university health center. Talk to trusted clinicians and others who maybe experienced life in similar ways that might have already been where you are. Ask a lot of questions. Read a lot. And talk to your doctors. Really talk to them. Be open, because the more that they know about your experience, the better they can help you. There's a lot of things that your doctor knows, but there's some things your doctor can never know. And that's how you experience life specifically. And so the more that you tell them about your experience, the better equipped they will be to treat you. And don't believe everything you read, especially if you read a bunch of conflicting information. If everybody's agreeing on a topic, that's a better possibility that it's going to be legitimate information. But if everything that you read about the same topic is different, then there's a good likelihood that there's some question about the validity of what's being said. I would table that until you have a chance to talk to your doctor specifically. Now, over a year ago, I made some changes to my eating habits, and it was based on research that I had been doing myself. I had looked at a bunch of different diets and a bunch of different recommendations, and I kind of put together my own plan. And I started with some very common sense things that I knew were going to be better for me. And then eventually I branched out to some more specific things that I was just kind of trying out to see how they would work. Most of it was things that I was eliminating from my eating habits just to see if it would make me feel better. I didn't do anything drastic that could potentially hurt me. I didn't know, what was going to work and what wasn't. It was just going to be kind of a trial and error thing. But I didn't do anything that I thought might have the potential to do any harm. Still, I talked to my primary care doctor, and I'm so glad I did, because I was so sure that a dairy-free diet was going to be better for me. And my doctor didn't disagree, but she did recommend that I start a calcium supplement, which is something I hadn't even thought of. So it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor when you're thinking about trying something new or making a change. What I really wanted to say in this video is that good advice and popular trends can go either way sometimes. But you got to make sure that your first criteria is that you're doing what is best for you. You can't always follow the trends because they don't work all the time. It's tempting when we see influencers and celebrities doing the latest diet or the latest skincare routine, making transformation look so easy. But every body is different. Drinking a gallon of water might sound like a no-brainer unless you have kidney issues. And green leafy vegetables are good for everybody, right? Unless you happen to be on a blood thinner. So if you're going to follow a trend, make sure it's one that works for you specifically, not just the most popular one. I love how this concept applies to every area of our lives. There are going to be some things that work for us, some things that don't work as well. I've heard this phrase a lot. It's chew the meat and spit out the bones. In other words, keep what benefits you and let the rest go without guilt, without apology. Everything isn't for everybody. Stay prayerful and humble. Seek wise counsel. Study for yourself, and always allow God to lead in everything you do. Romans 12:2 backs me up on this one. It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean that it's going to be right for you, but only you are accountable to be a good steward of what God has given to you, mentally, physically, spiritually, relationally, financially. He made us. He knows us better than anyone, including ourselves. So let's look to him and not the trends for direction. I love you. I'm praying for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.